Hear me and rejoice. You have been saved by Harmless Phosphorescence! Hello, everyone. This is Throw Smiley. I'm from space, and I came here to steal a necklace from a wizard. Who's joining me this week?
I'm Josh CC, and my Ben & Jerry's flavor is chocolate-covered Chi-Chis.
I don't want another single pop culture reference out of you for the rest of the trip. You understand? I'm Brian Lash.
I'm like a pirate had a baby with an angel. I'm Alaric Weber.
You are, Al. And this is Harmless Phosphorescence. It's the podcast where we watch every theatrically released full-length live-action superhero movie ever made. We gather some research into the production and the source material, then we tell you all about it. This show is brought to you by our patrons. Patrons like executive producers Atticus Burkett and executive producer Michael Beckwith. You can be a patron too. Just go to patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. We got bonus content there. We got Star Wars miniseries, holiday shows. We've got music that comes out every week, music shows, and our monthly movie for May has been chosen. The year was 1982, and the movie we are going to watch from that year is Beastmaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beastmaster.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about the ferrets, man. That's going to be a fun one. I don't think I've watched that since the 80s, so that's going to be fun.
It's
been a while. I have, but not.
It's been a while, but it is still fun. Maybe it's just because I watched it so much as a kid.
Yeah.
That I still find it fun, but
it's fun.
It is. Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. That's going to be a fun episode. That's on patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. $1 a month is all you need to get started watching our monthly movies. A little bit more gets you a whole lot more content. So head on over there, check it out. This week, though, on Harmless Phosphorescence, we are watching Avengers Infinity War.
To bring together a group of remarkable people.
To see if we could become something more.
So when they needed us, we could fight the battles
that they never could.
It's like to lose. To feel so desperately that you're right, yet to fail all the same. Dread it. Run from it. Destiny still arrives.
Evacuate the city. Engage all defenses. And get this man a shield.
Fun isn't something one considers when balancing the universe. But this does put a smile on my face. Who the hell are you guys?
Infinity War. Hot dog. I want to point out right off the gate that they were lying to us in that trailer. about the number of Infinity Stones in the Gauntlet, about Hulk being in Wakanda, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So, all right. Infinity War was released April 27th, 2018. It had a running time of 149 minutes. It cost $400 million to make and promote. And it made $2.048 billion at the box office. So there was some return on investment there.
A little bit.
Yeah. I'd right off the bat want to say that I love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies in general. It's definitely in my top 5 favorite MCU movies without question. I love this movie. I have a ton of unanswered questions, and I will be going into them because there's some stuff that
I'm here for
makes
it.
very little sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, a couple things.
yeah, well, I mean, within the
I'm right there with you.
okay.
I have a big one that's still in my craw to this day in the MCU. But all right, we're get there.
Yeah,
we
we
gotta
will-
pace ourselves. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. It made a lot of money, and that means it's time for us to do the box office top 10 game. This is the game where I will read the box office mojo descriptions of all the movies released that were in the top 10 of the box office April 27th, 2018. And the guys here are going to try to guess what movie I'm describing based on that description. You ready to play the game, fellas?
Whip.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's jump into that glizzy. Here we go. At number
You
10.
got Lizzie this time. You started with hot dog. All right, mark your bingo card.
At number 10 for the week of April 27, 2018, a couple off for a romantic weekend in the mountains are accosted by a biker gang. Is this 1956? Alone in the mountains, Bray and John must defend themselves against the gang, who will stop at nothing to protect their secrets. I don't know. This is the first I'm hearing about this movie. I don't know.
This is the first I'm hearing about this.
It stars Omar Epps and Paula Patton. Yeah, weird. The tagline was, "Refuse to be a victim."
I got no guesses.
In the mountains.
People went to Infinity War.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
called Traffic with a K. Traffick.
Oh,
Traffic.
did they stumble upon some bikers who were trafficking something?
I would assume so, yeah.
Context. All right, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, at number 9 at the box office this week. When the creator of a technology dies, he makes a challenge to the users to find a hidden prize, which will give them fortune and control of his company.
Stan Lee's No
Ready.
Prize, the film.
Ready Player One.
Yeah, Ready Player One. Steven Spielberg.
Yep.
There we go.
Yeah, that I read the book. I actually haven't seen the film yet, but I read the book. It was fine. I don't know. It read like a really in-depth Reddit post. Honestly.
Yeah.
It has an incredible shining sequence in it, the film. I haven't read the book, but it is one of my favorite reinterpretations of the Overlook.
Yeah, that's interesting. I really want to get around to it someday. If we ever get to 2018 on the monthly movie, that's probably going to be my nomination, because I haven't seen it and it looks crazy and the book was fun. So, all right, that is number 9. Number 8 on our box office top 10 game. 3 parents try to stop their daughters from losing their virginity on prom night.
I assume it's called Prom Night.
It's not, no.
Boner Killer 3, The Legend of Dong Slayer.
The Glizzy returns. Is it like Dad's gun on the table?
So it looks like
HPV.
we got Mark Wahlberg and John Cena in the lead here.
Oh
And
my god, that's
I
too
remember-
much. One or the other. That's
Yeah.
too much.
I remember this trailer, but I don't remember the name.
it's
Hell,
called Blockers. And
Oh, that was
and
closer than I thought.
yeah, and the logo has a rooster, the silhouette of a rooster above the word Blockers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Chicken blockers. I get it.
That's right.
yeah. It cuts down on avian bird flu.
Yeah.
That's
Chicken
right.
blockers.
That's right. They're doing the right thing. The
Glizzy blockers?
Yes.
Glizzy blocker. See, that sounds like a product of some kind.
Glizzy blocker. Yeah.
It's an umbrella.
At
The neurotransmitter.
at number 7 this week, a harmless gang among a group of friends turns deadly when someone or something begins to punish those who refuse to participate.
I'm sorry. Are you called a gang if you're harmless? Are you not an
No.
organization or a charter of some kind, like the Boy Scouts or whatever?
No, it was a harmless game, not a harmless gang.
Fire gang.
Oh.
harmless,
Yeah,
a
I heard
harmless,
gang too.
no, a harmless game among
Okay.
friends turns deadly when someone or something begins to punish those who refuse to participate.
Oh. Who wants to guess? I have a guess.
It's a
refuse to participate.
it's a Blumhouse.
Ouija board or something? Ouija?
No, but it's kind of like
All right.
it's kind of like
Candyland?
think of a game that doesn't require any sort of board or equipment.
Twister.
Bloody Mary.
No, that
That's a board and a spin dial.
yeah, Bloody Mary. No,
Uh,
I mean your eyes are getting there.
Truth or dare?
Yes, it's Truth or Dare.
Oh.
Blumhouse's Truth or
That's
Dare.
not harmless.
No,
I
it's
bet babies were made.
yeah. Truth or Dare is wild. When you're like
Potentially.
when you're 13 years old and like all
Oh
the-
yeah.
Yeah, it's like truth. I don't know a lot.
yeah.
Dare. I'm terrified.
Yes.
right.
I love the dares that are always like, I dare you to eat dog food. And it's like, that's not what this game's for, asshole.
I know exactly. Gross out.
We've got a co-ed group of like preteens here. You know what we're about. Come on.
I know. Could you really?
All right.
Yeah. Dare me to feed her dog.
Yeah. Do dog food shots out of her navel.
What?
Dog food shots. Break, break.
All right. At number 6 this week. Ooh, dog. When bless my glizzy. When a border dispute arises between the U.S. and Canada, a group of law enforcement are tasked with establishing a station in the disputed area.
What?
This sounds like a comedy.
It is
Yeah.
a sequel to a comedy classic.
Oh. Classic? Okay.
Well,
Ghostbusters
classic.
Go
No, I
North.
say classic, Alice. I think you're probably
Oh,
thinking
okay.
too far back.
Okay.
Like I'd say modern classic or a cult classic.
So I'm thinking of that one where John Candy.
Nope.
Canadian bacon.
Yeah, no, definitely not that one.
Okay.
That was a Michael Moore movie, actually.
Yeah.
It's only fiction.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
This is a sequel. It's a group of people that make movies together.
Is this an Adam Sandler
No.
production?
Nope. It's a group of people that make good movies together. Generally good, not always.
Was it the makers of Super Troopers?
Yeah.
Oh, Broken Lizard.
That would make this movie
Oh,
Super Troopers 2.
Super Troopers 2. Yep, you got it.
2018. I feel like that was more recent. Oh, fuck.
Well, 2018
Well, that-
was 2 years ago, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah,
That was
exactly.
also stuck in like development hell for a really long time.
They had to kickstart it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no studio.
Yeah, there was like 5 years where it's like, we basically made the movie, but we can't distribute it to enough people to make money off of it. So please.
I think their best movie is their second one, Club Dread. I think that's...
Yeah,
I
Club
love that
Dread
movie.
is amazing. Oh, yeah.
Club Dread is crazy.
It hits on a lot of different levels.
Yeah. All right, so
Son of a bitch.
at number 5 for the box office of April 27, 2018, an African prince is sent into exile by a relative who takes over his throne.
Black Panther.
Or the Lion King.
Or the Lion King,
The Huey P. Newton story, or the
Yeah, it's Black Panther. Still at number 5 still. Like,
I wonder if it got a bump because of this. Like if people saw it that week in anticipation of Infinity War. Like, I want to sit in the movie theater for 5 hours.
well, wait,
Yep.
no. Actually,
I
no.
am one of those people.
It dropped from last week. Last week it was at number 3. So,
Wow. Interesting.
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's competing against itself almost at that point.
Well,
Same
yeah.
with Infinity War.
I mean, and it
Yeah, there's no
it also
competition.
made over $1 billion itself. So 2018
Yeah.
was a good year for Disney. Anyways,
Can you think of one that wasn't, though?
Yeah, right. Since Snow White.
well,
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I'm kidding.
There-
In the mid '80s.
the mid 70s to the mid 80s were pretty rough, but you know,
but I think they stayed afloat.
yeah, they
Oh, yeah.
made it. So
I just thought since we were talking about it, I just thought I'd mention again that Black Panther came out in February, and this was April.
yeah, it's in its 11th week at this point, which is staying power you don't see very often anymore.
Indeed.
Yeah.
In and out.
So
But
all
what's
right.
wild, and we won't go on that tangent, but we were talking about DeSantis and wanting to dissolve Disney World. This movie made more money than that civic debt, municipal debt that they own.
Yes, exactly.
That's
They had
hilarious.
2 movies in 2018 that both made more money than that.
Yeah.
2.
Florida needs its own
still can't
cinematic
do it.
universe.
Maybe.
They do. It's called Reddit. Or Jan.
So, all right. At number 4 this week, when 3 different animals become infected with a dangerous pathogen, a primatologist and a geneticist team up to stop them.
Madagascar 4.
Planet of the Apes with James or Dave Franco? No?
Nope. No, that was like 2014 or something, the first one.
Apes are popping.
There is an ape, but there's not just an ape. This is
Glizzy
a
gorillas
video
in the
game.
mess.
This is a video game movie.
Oh, Rampage.
Rampage.
Oh, that's right, with The Rock.
The Rock. Yeah.
Mr. The Rock.
Yes. Yeah. At number 3 this week. Oh, this is some counter programming. A woman struggling with insecurity wakes from a fall, believing she is the most beautiful and capable woman on the planet. Her new confidence empowers her to live fearlessly. But what happens when she realizes her appearance never changed?
So fucking sick.
This is Rebel Wilson.
Nope. Amy Schumer.
Yeah, is it?
Amy Schumer. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Confidence woman.
That's a good guess. That
That is a good guess. We were still guessing. I thought Amy Schumer was.
Oh, yeah. the name of the movie is just Amy Schumer. Amy Schumer.
Well,
like
I mean,
Mary Hartman.
that would
Mary
be
Hartman.
Amy Schumer
That'd be
Blues
like
Explosion.
effective enough marketing for her because the people who don't want to see her movie aren't going to see it because her name's in it.
And
Yeah.
the people who
wanna
do,
see it,
right?
Yeah, they're like, oh, Amy Schumer, I like
They
her.
should have just. They should have just started calling Lena Dunham Project Lena Dunham, so we
Yeah.
would know ahead of time.
Absolutely.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, you're kind of along the right track.
Yeah.
It's called
Bombshell.
Beauty is on the
Hey.
inside.
Face blindness.
I.
Shallow Hal.
Story.
It's called.
Clark Kent story.
It's called I Feel Pretty.
Oh.
Yeah.
And witty and gay.
And bright. Yeah, gay.
And yeah. At number 2 this week, in a post-apocalyptic world, a family hides from monsters.
Quiet Place.
Quiet Place, yeah.
Man, Krasinski getting that money.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. That movie made a lot of money.
Yeah.
There's, I guess, a prequel coming or prequel series or something.
Really?
Or maybe another movie, but like.
It's
was quiet already.
Yeah. Well, there is one, and I think does take place prior to the first movie. So, yeah. And at number 1, a man collects jewelry.
I want to wear them to the pirate ball.
While traveling on his vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Infinity War is number 1, of course. That does it for the box office top 10 game this week, which means it's time for us to look at the comic book background of the Avengers Infinity War. Al, what do you have to tell us about this movie and the things that are in it that are related to comic books?
I believe we have not talked much about Thanos.
No.
Oh, the Dad Titan.
Let's talk about Thanos, baby. Let's talk about you and me.
Thanos was created by Jim Starlin, first appearing in The Invincible Iron Man number 55, February of 1973. Starlin admitted to being inspired by Jack Kirby's New Gods from DC.
Darkseid, right?
But in his original sketches from college, Thanos looked more like the new god Metron. In his first gig at Marvel, Starlin wanted to use Thanos when editor Roy Thomas told him, "Beef him up. If you're going to steal one of the new gods, at least rip off Darkseid, the really good one."
Yeah, and I'm sure everyone's seen it on the internet, the panel of Thanos being arrested by the NYPD.
Did he park his helicopter in the wrong place?
Yeah.
His blimp. What was the name of the one he was originally? New God what?
Metron.
Metron.
He was another one of the new gods. He's skinnier, usually flew around in a chair.
Oh, yeah, there he is.
So, let's see. Thanos was born on Titan, one of Saturn's moons, and he's the son of Eternals Alars and Suisan, brother to Eros, a.k.a. Star Fox. Thanos carried the gene of the Deviants, the cousin race to the Eternals. His mother attempted to kill him due to his deviant appearance and a belief that he would destroy all life in the universe, but was stopped by his father.
Yeah, so that's some family drama.
Yeah. In his school years, Thanos was a pacifist and a loner.
Yep.
Yet in adolescence, became fascinated with nihilism and entropy, worshipping and eventually falling in love with the physical embodiment of Mistress Death.
I mean,
He was on like a field trip.
So he had a goth phase.
He was exactly. He was on like a field trip or something, and a bunch of his like friends were eaten by lizards, and that's like part of what started turning the tide for him.
So, all right,
yeah, that sounds like a joke. It is not.
At some point, they were smashing lizards, and that was like what happened to them, too. Yeah, and he wouldn't take part in smashing the lizards. But
that's right.
And we see Death as a member of the crowd of kids. That's really I forget which run that was.
You know, that's more
modern.
It was way.
My supervillain origin story is similar, except instead of my friends being eaten by lizards in front of Mistress Death, one kid threw a used condom at my back on a field trip.
And then you were just bloodthirsty from then on.
Yeah, because the entire for the rest of the day, everyone just called me condom.
A day is not too bad.
Yeah.
Okay, as an adult, Thanos augmented his strength and powers through a combination of mysticism and cybernetic enhancements.
And calisthenics.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Dude's jacked.
Chin
sensible
exercises.
diet. Chin.
And exercise.
Thanos has the superhuman physiology of the Eternals, including enhanced strength, speed, stamina, durability, and agility. He is nearly invulnerable and immortal.
Nearly.
I mean, we're all nearly immortal until we die.
No, just this close.
Nearly immortal.
I'm almost ready.
You might
Kind
be
of dead.
You might be actually immortal. But let's see. Thanos can project plasma energy, and Thanos is a genius level tactician.
Ah.
Oh, so not well rounded. That's why it's a little different.
Not the tactical whistle?
That's the tactical.
The tactical slide whistle.
Check.
I hear we're sending those to Ukraine.
Yeah.
Us, the podcast?
The character's best known role came in the 1991 storyline, The Infinity Gauntlet, the culmination of several previous story arcs, which saw Thanos successfully assembling the 6 Infinity Gems into a single gauntlet, granting him omnipotence, using them to kill half the population of the universe, all in an effort to earn the affection of Mistress Death.
Just trying to get
I
kissed.
love that run. Yeah.
I mean, I do
Just
have to
thirsty.
say that that's a much clearer, more straightforward motivation than we get in the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. It introduces a
Yeah,
whole
but
other
in
aspect.
2018, it wouldn't fly.
No,
Yeah,
no,
and
it
like
wouldn't.
introducing a new character, the embodiment of death, would have been a lot, I think, for people to really chew on.
No, I
their head
understand
around.
why they changed it. I'm just saying, as a motivation, it's a lot
Yeah,
cleaner
it's clear.
than
Yeah.
It's what Superman has been operating.
Yeah.
under
He's just trying to get laid.
decades.
the whole
One woman.
time.
One.
Yep.
Just one. Not just trying to get laid.
Yeah. He's trying to get
What?
laid by. Yeah.
by his
Trying
man.
to protect.
Yeah, that one manic pixie dream girl of his.
One of the major characters in the Infinity Gauntlet was Adam Warlock, which we did not see in this movie. He leads Earth's remaining heroes to battle Thanos on an asteroid.
Yeah.
On his throne.
his asteroid throne. Nebula was a big deal in that. She actually stole the gauntlet at some point from Thanos, and she has her own nefarious motives. I think I read it last year or 2 years ago.
She stole the gauntlet after Thanos changed her to the cusp of death. So she
The
was,
living corpse thing.
Yeah, she's a living corpse who then has the power of the Infinity Gauntlet. So
As a trophy to death. Like, here,
Yeah.
keep this in your living room. Like,
yeah, it's
You
a
love
really
it.
messed
You
up
love
story.
The Celestials show up. It's like a big deal. Thanos, after getting the gauntlet stolen, Thanos aids in defeating Nebula, and the gauntlet finally ends up in Warlock's possession, at which point all of the effects of the gauntlet are undone, and half the universe comes back. There were 2 immediate sequel stories in the Infinity War and the Infinity Crusade. I didn't want to dwell too long on all that. And then other characters, I think the 4 that I thought of, the Black Order.
right.
Cole Obsidian, he was based on a character named Black Dwarf, loosely based.
Black Dwarf.
Black Dwarf.
Oh, okay.
Or
Thank
with
you.
a DW, but yeah.
I was
Dwarf.
like, is this Tim Conway in blackface?
Oh, God.
Yeah. Here's how you play basketball.
Then there's Ebony Maw, Proxima Midnight, and Corvus Glaive. They were all of the Black Order, which were the alien villains who aided Thanos in a lot of his adventures, they all originated in 2013.
Those names are such like a, hey, we're starting an industrial band.
Yeah.
These are our new names.
Find as many synonyms for black. Yeah.
I think my favorite name of the four was Proxima Midnight.
Yeah. It's not midnight, but it's near midnight.
Round midnight, a Thelonious Monk reference there.
Yeah.
At the Oasis?
If our listeners would like to know more about the Black Order, it's online.
Or visit your
local library.
Or visit your local library. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I just want to say about Thanos, because we'll get into this with Thanos, but like his character originally, Thanos' greatest weakness is his hubris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and that's shown throughout all of these different comics that focus on him as the either the bad guy or even in some certain ways kind of like this, the protagonist of the story.
Yeah.
He always trips over his own glizzy.
A note that I saw, remembering now, a lot of times he would end up failing, like causing himself to fail because deep down he didn't feel worthy of success.
Well,
it's a weird
that
kind of aspects to his personality.
That hits far too close to home, so we're going to move on.
The real Elvis vibe.
Yeah. He's got the imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
For a guy who conquers the universe.
Oh, the imposter.
So, all right. Well, thank you, Al. Yeah, this obviously this is heavily influenced by the Infinity Gauntlet, but it's differs in many ways. We're going to move on to the production background of the film itself. Obviously, they were planning on Thanos and the Infinity Stones being the major thrust of the MCU, at least for these first three phases, as far back as the Avengers, which is when we first saw Thanos.
Yep.
So this movie was directed by the Russos, written by Marcus and McFeely. We've discussed all of them a few different times. There's really, I don't know if there's anybody new to talk about here. We got RDJ back as Tony, Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner, Chris Evans as Cap, Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, Don Cheadle as War Machine, Tom Holland as Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa, Paul Bettany as Vision, Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda Maximoff, Anthony Mackie as Falcon, Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, Idris Elba as Heimdall, apparently Thor's new best friend, Peter Dinklage as Eitri. We last saw Peter Dinklage in the what was
Underdog?
it? Apocalypse. No.
Oh.
We saw Underdog was the first time we saw Peter Dinklage, so we last saw him at not Apocalypse. What was it? What was the one before Apocalypse? The X-Men movie.
Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past.
Yes.
Days of Future Past. He was Trask.
That's right. Benedict Wong as Wong. Two Wongs make a white. Palm Clementine.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
I'll remember that for the next time anybody gives me shit.
I'm so
My
sorry.
borderline
I'm,
racist.
yeah, I'm so sorry. Clementine
Andrew's not Asian.
as Mantis. Oh, that reminds me. Better turn on the chat. Andrea, I'm sure, is out there wanting to tell us things we should probably know about. We got Karen Gillan as Nebula, Dave Bautista as Drax, Zoe Saldana as Gamora, Vin Diesel as Groot, Bradley Cooper as Rocket, Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts, Benicio del Toro as the Collector, Josh Brolin as Thanos. We last spoke about Josh Brolin in the what was
The cowboy movie?
what was it? That was Jonah Hex. Jonah Hex.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Pratt as Star-Lord. Danny Guerrero as Okoye. Letitia Wright as Shuri. William Hurt as Thunderbolt Ross.
We can't really make fun of Phone It In Hurt anymore.
Yeah.
Well, he's dead.
That's
We can
right.
make
Yeah,
fun of
he's
him all
gone.
we want.
Yeah.
That's right. He hurts no more.
Can't hurt nobody.
Finally.
Now that he's dead.
Yeah. Ooh.
Sorry, William Hurt fans out there.
We're sorry to you too, guys.
Yeah. We're sorry you don't have better idols to look up to.
Yeah. So let's see. We have oh god, Jacob Batalon as Ned. Sam Jackson and Colby Smulders back as Nick Fury and Maria Hill. And the new people we have here, Terry Notary as Cull Obsidian. Terry Notary or Notary? I don't know. Terry Notary or
Terry Notary?
Terry Notary or Terry Notary? I'm not sure which one's better.
That's a new hashtag, Terry Notary.
Yeah. He does a lot of like stunt stuff and mocap work. He's in Avatar and Transformers. He did he did a lot of stunt double work on MCU movies prior to actually having a named role. Tom Von Lawler as Ebony Maw. What's that?
I think maybe his biggest role was Kong in Skull Island.
Yes. Yeah.
Biggest.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Biggest.
Tom Von Lawler as Ebony Maw. This has a lot of stuff people haven't heard of movie-wise, a lot of like indie stuff. And then he was in, he was in Peaky Blinders for a little bit, and that Love-Hate show, which is a Irish show. So let's see. Carrie Coon as Proxima Midnight. She is probably best known as Nora from The Leftovers. She was really good.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
A few things.
Yeah. Let's see. She was in Fargo too. In the third season of Fargo, she was Gloria.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That was a
and
cute character.
Ghostbusters?
Oh, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Yeah.
Afterlife. Yep.
Yep.
Finally saw that. That was good.
She's a Spangler. Yeah, it was cute.
Oh, is she mom in that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she is. Michael James Shaw as Corvus Glaive. He's mostly known for being in that Limitless show. Limitless. That was his biggest thing he was in. He was on The Walking Dead for a little while. So,
he was on 3 episodes of the Constantine TV series.
Okay.
Just as another superhero cred.
Huh. There's another Walking Dead alum in this who plays what's his face, Red Skull.
Yeah, that's right. And as Red Skull,
they recast.
Yeah, he doesn't actually play Red Skull. He just does the voice work because Red Skull was completely CGI in this.
Right.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, there was
I'm
not
sure.
a person there at all.
Why not have Viggo Mortensen just come and do the lines?
Oh,
so weird to have a different actor.
not
It wasn't
Viggo.
Viggo. It was
Elrond, not
Viggo.
What's his face? Hugo Weaving.
Yes, Hugo Weaving.
Well, they asked him. He refused. He said no.
Oh,
that's why.
Good answer.
Yeah,
which is surprising, honestly, because this would have been a really cool way to reprise.
His, it would have been. But yeah, Ross Marquand is he was Aaron in The Walking Dead. He was Paul Newman on Mad Men. Interesting. I'm rewatching
that.
They couldn't get Paul Newman.
Yeah, they couldn't get Paul Newman to DH himself for 40 years. I'm rewatching Mad Men. That show is amazing. They announced this movie in October 2014, shortly after Age of Ultron. This movie, and as a two-parter, they announced it as Infinity War Part 1 and 2. Part 2 obviously became Endgame. So they began filming this in January 2017. There's not there's not a lot to say about the production itself. Obviously,
I would think not.
Yeah. The music was Alan Silvestri. They got him back. He did the previous Avengers movies, as well as Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Forrest Gump. They just this is what they were all building up to. There's not a lot to say about the production. It was very secretive. It was kind of your classic Marvel. This is the bring all the Marvel people together one. So
yeah, this was the plan.
Yeah. Like I said, not much else to say about the production. Do you guys kind of want to just start getting into the movie? That's where I think our meat is today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here we go. This is the Avengers Infinity War. We open on space. It's a distress call from the Asgardian ship, the Statesman.
It's Kenneth Branagh.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Reading the distress call?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Asgardian distress call.
Yeah.
He, of course, directed Thor.
They are under attack by Thanos.
I was a little confused. I thought this ship came from the battle planet.
It did, and they took it to...
Asgard and filled it.
They took it to Asgard.
At that point, they're saying it's now our ship. It's now an Asgardian ship now that we've taken it, I believe is...
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm a little confused about all of the Asgardians and how they are not dead in the next movie.
So they said this. I listened to the director's commentary with the Russos and Marcus and McFeely, all four of them chatting. It's not implied heavily enough, but Valkyrie got away with a large number of Asgardians before Thanos got onto the ship.
Right.
I was paying attention. Where was it implied ever?
Just because she's not around.
By her not being there, that's the implication. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's how comic books work.
Yeah, they cut a lot of stuff. I mean, they talked about the choice not to show Xandar.
Well, but this isn't a comic book; it's a movie. So
yeah.
But okay, I mean, yeah, just like the ship. No, a single line. The ship got away, and that would have answered something I've been wondering for 4 years now.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, they definitely did not survive this interaction with them, or you could assume that Thanos let half of them go because he kills half of the population.
Well, he's on a very singular mission. He's going to kill people later. He's not necessarily bloodthirsty. Yeah. So he was on that ship for a specific reason, and we saw that encounter.
Yeah, but then the ship
didn't see him slaughtering other Asgardians because they wouldn't have the Tesseract.
Right, but then he blew the ship up at the end. So anyone on that ship would have been dead unless they're Thor.
But Thor did mention
or escaped
later. He had a line saying that half of his people were dead.
Mm.
So he assuming that half of them survived.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Yeah. So Thanos did kill half, and then the other half went away with Valkyrie. Okay. Yeah. That I really would have liked a line in there, just being like Valkyrie made it off with the other half at some point. Anyway, so all right. Thor and Loki have been subdued by Thanos, who we see has the Power Stone. He wants the Tesseract from Loki, who took it from Asgard when they were leaving. Hulk attacks Thanos at this point and is beaten. Heimdall summons the Rainbow Bridge, sends Bruce back to Earth. Thanos kills Heimdall, who apparently is now Thor's best friend.
Who was
It's
his
the
best friend
Bifrost.
before?
I don't.
The rainbow. Oh.
Or yeah, I'm sorry.
was his best friend
The
before?
Bifrost. I don't know, but they refer to Heimdall as his best friend a couple times in this, and I was like, really? I didn't see a lot between those guys.
Now that the Warriors 3 are dead.
It's like Heimdall moved up in the ranks.
Yeah.
They've shared. I don't know.
Well, he does know the most about his personal life. He knows more about Thor than any of the other Asgardians do because he's constantly watching
as
him.
far as power the Asgardians possess.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing too.
I'm sure he had a Kevin. We all had a Kevin at some point.
Sure. Yeah. That's another question I have about Heimdall. Is his whole thing is he can see anything. He sees stuff. He sees stuff far away. He sees a lot of stuff. That's Heimdall's thing. He sees things. Did he?
Yeah.
How the fuck did Thanos' ship just appear above them without Heimdall seeing it?
I think that Heimdall's. I think Heimdall's powers are limited to the 9 realms. So
okay.
The moment that Thor.
What question are you answering?
Well,
how did he not see a ship?
Yeah.
Maybe he did.
Yeah, and maybe he did. But I think that his ability to see far and wide is like tied to the Yggdrasil.
It's not
thing,
sneaking.
You know?
Well, because at the end of Thor Ragnarok, it just appeared above them, basically. So, like he didn't, like I'm saying, like him being Heimdall, he'd been like, hey, there's a ship coming. It'll be here in 2 hours. Like some.
Well, and maybe they jumped out of hyperspace or something.
Lines are not in. All right.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why they chose not to show a lot of this stuff is because it's better just to have the we're in it.
Yeah,
it's too late. You know.
And there's a lot to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are no prize questions, though.
Yeah.
You win a no prize for asking them.
So all right.
They don't affect anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Heimdall gets the Bifrost, sends Bruce to Earth. Thanos kills Heimdall. He gets the Tesseract. Loki tries to trick Thanos and then stab him, but Thanos kills Loki, then uses his Infinity Gauntlet to go back to his own ship with his crew and destroys the Asgardian ship completely.
Well, and we get Thanos gives Loki the option: the stone or your brother's head.
Mm-hmm.
And we get this emotional moment from Loki where he goes like, "Kill away," and then he breaks under the pressure of like watching his brother be murdered in front of him. He's come a long way.
He really has.
Well, because then there's that moment where he's like, "You really are the worst, brother."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you don't know if he's saying it because he revealed having the Tesseract or that he stole the Tesseract in the first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're the worst for taking it. Maybe not that. Maybe you're the worst for fucking, let him hurt me a little bit.
I read it as him taking it. He's like, dude, you should have left
I did
that
too,
there.
but you could read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if he left it, maybe it would have been destroyed in Asgard. Maybe it's powerful enough.
That's
it would have just been floating in space.
Yeah.
But one last question I have about this. So when he says we have a Hulk, it seems like that's the first time Hulk's showing up to fight Thanos. Why wasn't he helping Loki and Thor fight Thanos when Thanos first boarded the ship and the battle that was off screen clearly happened?
Because they had to take him by surprise.
So we'll let Thanos beat us a lot, and then Hulk will jump out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a long one, man.
I said I had a lot of questions.
Ultimately, my question is:
do.
have we ever seen the Hulk hide?
Yeah, right? Yeah, where was he hiding? He was right behind the camera.
How do you convince him to hide? Hey, man, can you just wait? Like, no, smash would be the answer.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we were going to have questions like, where is Hulk hiding?
Well, it's not just that. It just doesn't make any sense that Hulk wouldn't have been fighting them.
Makes any sense?
Yeah, it doesn't. Within the structure of this, I know obviously magic gloves don't make sense, but we've bought into that concept. The concept of like, why aren't they fighting Thanos with Hulk also helping? It's just like a screenwriting thing.
He was in the bathroom.
Okay.
He does help. What are you talking about? If there was no scene and the Hulk didn't show up at all, then your question would be valid. But we're watching. So you're talking about storytelling?
No,
absolutely.
We
see this encounter, then we see this encounter, and then the stakes are raised, and we see that encounter. You're telling me
we open with Thanos having beaten Thor and Loki already. Where was Hulk while he was beating Thor and Loki? Why wasn't Hulk helping them?
Why does that have it? Okay, you're right. Yeah, you're right. That's poor storytelling. Start with all the cards on the table. You're right. All the cards on the table. That's always the way to go. That's how you start a movie. Everything.
He was battling on another part of the ship, and he finally got to the bridge.
Okay, that's an answer I'll accept.
Yeah, covering the exit.
It's no more fucking valid than any other.
Yeah.
Well, just
Al just made that up.
Well, yeah, that's fine. It's all made up as long as there's something that actually explains it. That's the whole point. Is it doesn't make any sense without an explanation.
Well, you know what though? Because the story's not about
it's
not about the Avengers. It's about Thanos, and from Thanos' perspective, he just wasn't around for that part of the conflict.
All right, so then Bruce arrives on Earth via Bifrost. He crashes into the Sanctum, where Wong and Doctor Strange are about to go get a tuna melt. He tells them Thanos is coming.
This is the classic Silver Surfer line from Infinity Gauntlet. He literally hits the stairs in the same way. It's kind of neat. You see the shot of him looking up at them too.
Yeah.
The moments
shots they replicate exactly in this movie.
It's incredible to see it.
Drax and Nebula being the biggest example.
Oh yeah, man. I love that shot.
So all right, then we get our title sequence. We cut to Tony and Pepper in Central Park. They're back together. That happened off screen in between Civil War and this.
How did it happen though?
Yeah. How did it happen? Where was their love hiding?
Well, no. I mean,
in the bathroom.
In the bathroom. You did. It happened off screen. You were totally fine.
It happened off screen, but Hulk didn't. It's a different thing.
Let's move on. We got to move on with our lives. I just didn't know. I didn't know that was going to be the approach. Now I know.
That was going to be the approach. That an internal illogical inconsistency wouldn't be asked.
That okay. Holy fuck. I can't believe when this happens. Keep going, please.
You can't believe when this happens. I can't believe when you're just like, it's movies. Who fucking cares? That's the whole point.
You can't believe that? Because you use it sometimes.
When it's...
You just did.
When something is...
Go ahead.
All right. What the fuck ever. Here we go.
That's right. What the fuck ever. You're not going to change my mind. It's ridiculous.
I don't want to change your mind. You're not going to change my mind. Okay. All good then. So,
I don't want to change your mind. You're not going to be satisfied, Thoreau, if that's your attitude.
We got a real Siskel and Ebert moment going on here.
No, it's not that. I can buy into I can completely buy into shit that doesn't make sense. I mean, the whole premise of the movie doesn't make sense.
You buy in as if it's a matter of logic and illogic. That's all I'm arguing against. You can't buy into it. The rest of us can. That's not a storytelling inconsistency.
No,
You're happy with something.
I buy into it completely. I love this movie. I'm nitpicking that part because it's something that occurred to me.
That's what I meant. Yeah, you just said. I didn't know I didn't know we were gonna pick nits, but now I do.
This whole podcast is.
I'm picking one.
Okay, so Tony is wearing camo bell bottoms, which is a choice.
Wait, what? He's wearing camouflage bell bottoms?
He's wearing camouflage bell bottoms. Yeah.
I mean, they're hiding his lifts, obviously.
I'd assume
he's
so.
Shorter than Cumberbatch. But...
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Doctor Strange shows up with Bruce. Oh yeah. Pepper's mad because Tony put a thing back in his chest for Iron Man. Doctor Strange shows up with Bruce. They take him back to the Sanctum. They explain the Infinity Stones to him. They tell him about Thanos, that he's coming. The Time Stone is in Doctor Strange's necklace. They discuss what to do. Tony tells Bruce that the Avengers broke up and that Tony is about to contact Steve Rogers to get in touch with Vision, as Vision has the Mind Stone, and he's currently missing. when there's a disturbance. Ebony Maw has arrived on Earth to try and collect the Time Stone. They go out to meet him. Meanwhile, Peter Parker, on a school bus, sees the ship and goes to help too. I feel like Peter maybe should have not put the mask on. His head was below the window. I know they're looking the other way.
Under the bridge to do that. Our Stan Lee cameo.
Oh yeah, we got our Stan Lee.
Yeah, one of his last.
You kids have never seen a UFO before, like
alien spaceship,
or an alien spaceship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which in the MCU would be common, I'm sure.
Yeah,
it's like seeing a Volkswagen Bug.
It's happened a few times for sure.
Well, you figure these kids were probably little kids during the attack on New York, right?
Yeah.
According to the Kate Bishop timeline.
Yeah.
It'd be 08, it'd have been 10 years before, so they'd have been 5 or 6.
Yeah, a lot of them would not have seen it or would be too young to maybe remember it clearly.
Right, whereas adults will have seen it from that point on.
Yeah.
What, you never seen it?
They fight Ebony Maw. Bruce is unable to summon his inner Hulk.
Weird erectile dysfunction jokes with the Hulk not coming out of the body of Banner. Weird. They're no Age of Ultron level sexualization of these characters, but this was just like okay, that's what we're doing with this.
Yeah.
You're embarrassing me in front of the wizards.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
That's
it's an emotion. It's an emotion. So Hulk is an emotional animal.
Yeah.
And it's an emotion that he's unaccustomed to.
Yeah. It really messed him up getting beat by Thanos.
Finally, his fear overcame his rage.
Yeah,
well, and not just...
It's probably the way Holy fell after his ear was bit off.
Yeah, he didn't just get beat by Thanos.
I was totally super tough, and then that guy bit my ear off.
When he fights Thanos, Thanos takes off his battle armor and takes off the glove.
Yeah.
And pieces him up completely. Just whoops the shit out of him.
Yeah, fights him like a titan.
Yeah. Well, and at that point, we should mention, he does not put the armor back on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Joe Russo makes this comment on the director's commentary saying, from this point on, is now a holy warrior. That's what they were trying to depict. He's like a monk now, fighting instead of like a general.
Yeah, a warrior monk. I see.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and he's not with his guys or anything anymore. Yep. It's just he's on his own. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
So all right.
Just Jesus period.
Yeah.
Wandering the desert.
Before he meets his bros.
So Ebony Maw can't get the Time Stone off Doctor Strange, so he takes him captive onto his ship. Tony and Peter Parker sneak aboard the ship as it flies away. Wong stays behind to guard the sanctum. The ship blasts off, heading for Titan. Bruce...
Spidey gets a new suit.
Yeah, Spidey gets a suit and he's got the legs coming out the back.
The Iron Spider suit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which Tony sent to him simply to get him off that ship. To protect him also, but to get from the lack of oxygen and whatever, but also to get him off the ship.
Get him off the ship. We talked about that in Homecoming.
This characterizes the warmer of the suit in Homecoming. It's that's thanks to me. Tony has all these experiences going to space in the first.
Oh well, there's that. Yeah.
So he has prepared a suit for Peter just in case that he gets to too high of an altitude.
Well, and we kind of talked about that he feels responsible for the kid. He uses the kid in these dangerous situations, but he always builds fail safes in there.
Well, and Homecoming,
so the kid doesn't die on his watch.
Homecoming had Vulture, right?
Yeah.
They were at a high altitude, so he's probably considering that too. There's a lot of really nuanced thought behind the suit in this universe. I can't remember the origins of the suit in the comic book universe, but I just remember it being kind of we need a new suit for Spider-Man, and now that he's working with Iron Man, this will be the thing.
It's kind of cool that they've acknowledged that through the progression of these films. They even in this one, is it what's that, nanotech? Oh, you like it? They've always informed the audience of the updates that Tony's made.
The Iron
our technological universe expands. What's that?
The Iron Spider suit, I think it originated around Civil War.
Yeah.
In
I
the
think
comics.
so.
When
Because Tony got Peter to out.
Yeah, Tony got Peter to out himself.
The classic "We have money" line.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it.
I don't I hesitate to bring it back up again, but I did like the how Loki was able to say "we have a Hulk," calling back to the first Avengers movie.
Oh yeah,
how Tony said that to Loki.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It shows a lot about how he's progressed as a character, that now he's come full circle on that.
Well, he was terrified of the Hulk the last time we saw them together.
Right, until they fought together and they were teaching Hulk to strategize a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Meanwhile, in space, the Guardians of the Galaxy are answering the distress call that the Statesman sent out. They find the wreckage and Thor floating in it, still alive.
I gotta say, the Rubber Band is a great song to fly through space to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Well, and we see all of the Guardians know the words. Well, I mean, except for Drax, who is asleep, obviously. But they know the words to this song. Like, to see Gamora singing the words to Rubber Band Man, it shows without telling how much time they've spent together doing just this.
Listening to those two mixtapes.
I was gonna say.
No. This is the Zune.
Oh, that's right.
It's like, what, 150 songs or something like that,
Yeah.
they said? Yeah.
That's right.
So, and I'm sure that there are favorites on that list, because who knows whose Zune that was.
Right.
No, yeah. It's a good point, though. But back in the day on road trips, we only had the music that we brought.
Yeah.
Skipped over the Taylor Swift. It's not their jam.
Yeah.
I don't know why Taylor Swift should be everybody's jam.
And the entire audiobook of The Secret was on there.
God.
The whole gig itself.
Like in the Key and Peele, where it's his own personal notes to self. I have gone beyond the mere dimension.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Brief production note: they brought on James Gunn to consult and help with the dialogue and character development of the Guardians, and Taika Waititi with Thor, because this was filming.
Awesome.
This was filming partly concurrently with Thor Ragnarok, and so when Chris Evans showed up on set, he basically told the Russos, like, "Hey, you guys need to talk with Taika because what we're doing is very different than what we were doing before."
Cool.
Joe Russo made this comment about Chris Hemsworth acting. He's like, we didn't know coming into this how good of an actor he was.
Yeah.
But the breadth of the humor and the tragedy that he plays as Thor,
Yeah.
really
character
shows
arc in the universe.
Yeah.
I
And speaking of the James Gunn thing, the color palette of this movie is very bright compared to Civil War, which was that gray Marvel palette that everything had been.
Yeah.
But they decided not to do that because they had to have all these characters look right.
Yeah.
So they sacrificed the Avengers look for the Guardians and Ragnarok look, which is kind of neat.
It was a huge improvement and a real step forward, I think.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I mean, when the villain is purple, it makes it really easy to
and the
think
gems.
Yeah, it's going to be too bright. He's going to be too purplish. Like, the gems are going to be too comic booky. They nailed it, man. They look of all these things.
Absolutely. So, all right. They rescue Thor from the wreckage. He's still alive. They take him on board. He wakes up and tells them about Thanos. I love all of the Thor, Peter Quill rivalry stuff. It's so fun.
Well, even before he's awake, the angel and the pirate, and
Gamora is holding his arm.
In every sci-fi universe, there's a kind of steel that's made somewhere else, and it's really, really well made. Yeah. Every universe, it's always mentioned like, the fibers.
I love
fibers.
The like
Gucci.
Almost fourth wall breaking of the. I'm not fat. He's like, you're one sandwich away from fat, because what's his face, the actor Chris Pratt, very much has said like it's really hard for me to slim down to play these roles, man. Like getting to look like that is a lot of work.
Yeah. He has said.
You know, he's not Hemsworth. He's not in the gym 7 days a week.
Yeah, he does it.
Well, he's not already starting with that.
He's not.
Australian surfer body.
Lean in the beginning.
Yeah. Hemsworth kept himself lean. Like Pratt had to started from Andy Dwyer, and
I was going to say Andy Dwyer was never required to be a physical standard.
Yeah. But almost fourth wall breaking. The Asgardians of the Galaxy is almost too perfect as the phrase. So all right. He figures out Thanos is going to go after the Reality Stone, which the Collector has on Nowhere. He decides to go to Nidavellir to get a new weapon to fight Thanos with. Rocket and Groot are going to go with him. Peter, Gamora, Drax, and Mantis are going to go to Nowhere to find Thanos.
Thor speaks Groot.
Yeah, it was an elective.
It's an elective.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
They said there were a few lines that got put in that were just one-offs that Taika just improv'd in a room when they were just talking about characters, and that's apparently one of them. Groot was an elective.
It makes sense.
He's a comedic genius.
Well, but Groot's people or their race is a ancient magical tree. Like, what better thing to have the Asgardians be aware of?
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and this
of their race.
And they've said Groot's the last of his species, right? They've said that a few times. I think.
Yeah, I don't know how that works,
right?
Because you could just clone them, you know?
Yeah.
Right, he can regrow.
Yeah. Huh.
Over and over and over.
That's a good point.
That's a great paradox. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you think that Groot would be like, oh, it's kind of my responsibility to shave off some flakes into a field. Come back every couple.
Well, he seems not even in control of that, like you said. As long as you have a piece of Groot, you can grow the sentient Groot.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of these things. That's the question.
Yeah, and I'm with you. All right.
We found one. We're on together. Good. So, all right, we cut to Wanda and Vision. Vision looks like Paul Bettany now. They're chilling out, maxing, relaxing.
She's tired of doing it with that.
Yeah,
the plastic. Pink. Yeah, pink and turquoise.
Oh God, the pink turquoise glizzy.
Yeah, she's like, can you please warm your body at least? I wonder if it was like step by step. Like, I'm tired of having sex with a cold robot. Can you raise your
98.6 degrees?
Yeah, like so this feels at least comfortable. It's like, can you make the bottom half of you skin tone? Maybe the mid half.
No, it's great. He switches to human. She's like, "Oh, you're white and British." Okay, sure.
Well, I mean, she should have known.
You can look like anybody. Yeah, anybody. Oh, okay. Well, Hogwarts then.
That would actually be really funny. Have him be shifting between portrayals of like, oh, Brad Pitt. What do you like, George Clooney?
Just a big just random ethnicities.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Just like a big Italian guy.
Would that have been what the original Jarvis looked like? Did Paul Bettany play a human Jarvis at some point?
He did not, which is so weird. But Jarvis was his dad's butler, and the next one, and it would have been cool if it was played by Bettany.
It would have been
not in the movie, but maybe Agent Carter.
Agent Carter, the guy who plays him, is the same actor that plays Jarvis in Endgame. So there's
Endgame, so not Paul Bettany.
Yeah,
interesting.
But they're very similar.
Would have brought things around in a really.
Yeah,
it would have made sense. Yeah,
it would have been really neat. I think it also could have been confusing because they showed him in his human form in this and in WandaVision.
Yeah,
it's two different characters without.
I mean, they look the same anyways. White British dudes.
Yeah.
So Wanda and Vision are hiding in Scotland. They go out for a kebab and get attacked by Proxima Midnight and Glaive, who are after the Mind Stone.
Lizzie Glaive.
That was a very British emo guy. I don't know. Just think of Susie Sue and like Robert Smith.
And I love the pace of this because we get the like reintroduction. They're clearly in love. They're kind of eloping, and then bam, no time. They're already fighting.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's the Al Pacino, you pull me back in.
I just realized Proxima Midnight sounds like the goth alter ego of Athena from Always Sunny.
From Artemis, you mean?
Artemis, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so they fight, but they're saved by Steve Rogers, Natasha Romanoff, and Sam Wilson, who show up and fight Proxima and Glaive off, who flee back into the sky from whence they came.
Well, and this shows how formative the Avengers are. You know, the two magical people couldn't handle it, but these three scrappy soldiers whoop the shit out of these magical aliens.
But it's also kind of a callback to Lagos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those were the three that were down on the ground with Wanda working that operation. With
Right.
Wanda.
Well, and
that's a good point.
Well, and they had to immediately power, like they had to immediately kind of sideline Vision by, saying, "Oh, I can't phase since they did the thing to me." Like, because otherwise he just would have mopped the floor with them being
with
Vision.
everyone.
Well,
and he would have been able to phase as Thanos is grabbing the stone.
Yeah,
all that. Yeah,
he could have
all
just
of that stuff. Yeah,
ducking away from him. It would have been this weird dance at the end.
Yeah, exactly. So they that's something that they definitely needed to address. I
Charles Xaviered him.
Yeah, I do think that a post WandaVision Wanda would have mopped the floor with him too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No,
I mean, just even
Dark Cold Wanda.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Endgame Wanda almost kills Thanos 1v1. Like
that's true.
She just had no idea how much power she was capable of holding.
Yeah. No, in Endgame, she's running on pure fury, and she's like, "Oh wow."
Yeah, she's like, "This feels great, man."
Yeah.
So they head back to the Avengers compound in New York. Then we cut to a flashback of when Thanos killed half of everyone on Gamora's planet and stole her to raise her as her own child. We see him giving her a message in balance, a lesson in balance, and a double-bladed knife. This is about as convoluted as the fucking Jedi's balance. His concept of balance makes about as much sense as the Jedi's concept of balance.
Because he's in control of it.
This is the only scene that I have any qualms with, really. Not like oh, I don't like this, but I'm like, this is the one where I'm like, I wonder if this could have been left out and something else put in its place. I get why, to pump up the emotional effect of Gamora when she's the sacrifice.
Oh, you mean this scene, or this compared to doing it all for Mistress Death?
No. Just this scene in particular, having the flashback to young Gamora, because everything else is very linear. We're moving at breakneck speed already, and then we flash back.
But
and then
there had to be a kernel of emotional development for what's coming.
Yeah, and we couldn't have just Zoe Saldana explain this with the passengers on the ship.
There was
I think not for the heartstrings moment, because we knew that she was the adopted daughter of Thanos, but there was no impact to that knowledage. You know what I mean?
I think it was showing that Thanos
he stole her.
Well, but that he cared for her, even though he stole her.
Yeah.
Because we think of her as a victim, but now you get this moment of oh, I guess he does have a paternal way with her.
Even at a young age, he recognizes that she's a fighter because she kind of confronts this giant dude.
Yeah.
Where's my mom?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and whatever. I mean, yeah. The thing on
but there's a sickness.
Yeah. As we get to Vormir, I guess we could talk about it more then. But him actually loving her is is that really love? What he feels for her? I guess he thinks it is, at least.
I mean, it's one-sided.
In the context. Yeah, but it has the vibe. Maybe I'm going to go too far. I don't mean to. It's not humorous, but the way that an SS officer might pick out a pretty Jewish gal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Behind their tender moment, 10,000 Jews are dying.
Yeah, exactly.
He's sick.
He is.
It's literally a relationship built on genocide, so it's not that far from your comparison.
Yeah, I picked out one. You seem like a fighter, and turns out yes, but was it nature or nurture?
Yeah,
I bet you had to be a fighter in his house.
Yeah,
the dad titan.
So, all right. Back in the present, Gamora reveals to Peter that Peter Quill that she knows a secret that Thanos can never find out. She makes him promise to kill her rather than let Thanos take her. He reluctantly agrees. Then we get that's when we get the Drax standing very still scene.
You're eating a Zarg nut.
Zarg nut. I feel like I've heard that before. Anybody else?
Yeah, I thought that was like a real snack when I was in the theater.
I
going
thought so, yeah. I am not going to say Star Trek because it sounds too
Well, there's
goofy for that,
Zagnut. There's
Zagnut. Yeah.
There is
Zagnuts are
Zagnut.
real, but I
Yeah.
yes, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
It's funny that in space there's a Zargnut. I wonder if they name themselves after Zagnut or if Zagnut name themselves after Zargnut. Or if it's just parallel thinking.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're the Coke and Pepsi of.
Drax's second favorite snack is Skrittles.
So they arrive at nowhere
Sticks.
to find the collectors imprisoned. Thanos already in possession of the Reality Stone. He does a fake out on them where we think that Gamora kills Thanos. Well, I don't know. I don't know if we think, but they think that Gamora killed Thanos.
Which just shows more of his emotional manipulation of Gamora.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think
she's crying.
I think that's why
she's going through it.
flashback scene was necessary, because otherwise
That's what I'm talking about.
this would have just been very manipulative.
And Vormir too.
Yeah.
We would not have believed that there was anything. It was still hard to believe with this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yes.
without that kernel. But so speaking of comic book panels, when he fucks with the matter, like where he makes Drax into cubes and Mantis into ribbon,
Yeah.
that was
Ribbon,
actually
yeah.
a Jim Starlin drawing,
Mm.
which Jim makes a cameo in the next movie. But
Yeah.
yeah, those were beautifully done. It was so nice to see him. Little fanboy payoff.
I was so excited seeing that in the theater. Like, oh my God, what else are they going to do for us? And so
And
much.
it speaks to that theatrics that lie within Thanos, because he has the power to make people's heads explode.
Yeah.
And he just
He
turns
doesn't-
them into ribbons instead.
Yeah,
And,
just to show off.
He, after Loki, he is not trying to kill anyone.
Nope.
Yeah.
I mean, he
'Cause
wasn't
he
even
knows he's
trying to
about
kill
to.
Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not going to pick you out one by one. I'm about to kill half of all you.
Yeah, he's like, by this time tomorrow, I'm not going to have to flex anything besides my thumb muscles. You know,
By this time tomorrow, it's going to be Ringo and Paul. So don't fucking-
Oh my God, the Beatles got snapped. It just took a while.
They did. It just took a while. That's how life works. Oh. Snapped is how we're going to call it from now
Agent
on.
of Thanos. Cancer. Agent of Thanos.
Oh God. Well,
What happened to your grandma? She was snapped.
well, yeah.
By
Can't-
cancer.
Well, and
Yeah.
Mark,
Agents of Thanos.
Mark David Chapman.
Yeah.
He snapped the fuck out of him.
Anyway, so all right. Yeah. Oh, and Thanos makes Peter shoot her. Like he makes him go through the emotional beats of shooting her just for the gun to turn into bubbles.
Well, and we get the bubbles for the first time, which
theatrics.
they use again to show us that Thanos is using the Reality Stone. Every time the stones are used, they light up. And he uses one at a time until the end, which is an interesting Thanos thing from the comics, because that was his stipulation fighting all of the Avengers in the Infinity Gauntlet was,
Right.
I'll tell you what, I'll use one stone at a time and maybe you'll beat me.
Right.
That was his hubris
Well,
in
and
that situation.
their powers are fairly amorphous. They're not really so he does use each of them in different ways, and it kind of satisfies, like at least because it's like if you have the Reality Stone, it's pretty good, right? You can change reality. But the Soul Stone, that helps you play saxophone better.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Literally, though. Literally, as Drax plays the saxophone in the comics because he came from the Soul World.
Oh, wow.
You don't remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Drax playing
It was
sax
unrelated.
is so on the nose.
Drax on sax and on wax.
On stacks of wax, yeah. All right. So Thanos kidnaps Gamora, takes her back to his ship. Meanwhile, Cap and company arrive at the Avengers compound. Rhodey's there. He's in a Zoom meeting with Thunderbolt Ross. Thunderbolt Ross orders them to all be arrested. Rhodey picks their side over his.
That's a court-martial.
Yeah. That's a spanking. That's a paddling.
Paddling.
That's a paddling. Yeah.
How does he expect him to arrest all of the Avengers that whooped the shit out of everybody last time they all encountered each other? Also, the fucking Hulk is here.
Yeah.
And it's obviously the honor system. Like, sure, I will.
Yeah.
They reunite. They discuss the situation. We discover that Hawkeye and Ant-Man are both not going to be in this movie.
Because they're on house arrest.
Yeah.
Voluntarily.
Yes, voluntarily on house arrest. They just
Because they both have families.
So this
I
is
would.
one of my unanswered questions. Captain America broke them out of prison.
Yeah.
While they were on the run from prison, somehow they got a deal to go on house arrest. That's not how anything works.
I mean, well, yeah. Although I imagine with Avengers, that's probably the best they're gonna get.
They're like, we'll just keep breaking out of jail, and you'll keep spending money tracking us down. At least let me be with my family.
Right.
They didn't murder anybody, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, that was the whole deal of the Sokovia Accords. There's a lot of buy-in involved. You
Yes.
can't really legislate
Yes.
the Hulk.
Yeah. It's either you retire or you fight for the government. So I guess they chose.
Yeah, so I'm sure Scott and Clint were like, all right, you know what? We'll hang up the bow and the little thing if we can be with our families.
I'll hang
you
up
know what
my
I mean?
ants.
My aunts. You're not gonna put me in a gulag or something, but I won't go out until you snap them.
Well,
Until the world
Then all
needs
you
me.
motherfuckers are on blast.
Yeah.
I'll keep the ants in the farm.
Until you snap.
Yep.
Until you snap
Once
them.
they've seen Gay Paris. All right.
All right. So yeah, they decide they're going to remove the stone from Vision's head. Steve says he knows someone who has the technology to take it out without
I know a
killing him. Cut to
Like the
Wakanda.
Genius Bar.
Yeah.
Take it to Apple.
Don't follow Captain America to a second location.
Cut to Wakanda, where T'Challa is giving Bucky a new arm. I just wanted to get the rest of the sentence out. Al, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I understand. I go through that daily. I know a guy. Was that an actual line?
I don't know if
no.
he used that exact phrase, but there was a line to that. I
think I
know
know
somebody.
somebody
I think I know
or-
someone. Something like that. Yeah.
Which is another line that's been in a lot of movies, Marvel movies.
Tony says it, I think, right?
No, he says it, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of one of their like go-to things. Is like, I know a guy. Cut to something that's like.
Sam said it when they found Rhodey, not Rhodey,
Yeah.
Bucky, when they found Bucky.
To get Ant-Man.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
assumed,
I know a
assumed
guy.
to crawl inside the arm.
Yeah,
Right. I know.
something
yeah.
like that. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have to start, especially after the new one that opens next week. The longest running repeat of lines is about Doctor Strange being a kid's birthday. act.
Oh, yeah. Like, do you do balloon animals?
Yeah.
Anytime he's appeared, someone has made that joke. Even aliens from other galaxies.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, they do. Well, I don't know if you know. I'm curious what percentage of the jokes in this movie were people calling other people things that weren't their name.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Rabbit,
hey, guy,
tree,
I love even
Squidward.
yeah, that's true.
Space dogs.
Even Ebony Maw was like, "You must be delightful at children's parties or
Yeah.
whatever."
Yeah.
So
Are there
that
children's
posits
parties
that
on this
Ebony Maw
planet?
has had to attend children's parties at one point or another. Because I've never had kids, but I've had to. If you have friends that have kids, you go to kids' birthday parties.
There was that point
And-
where Ebony Maw was in his late 30s and all his friends were having kids, but he was still concentrating on his career as Thanos is.
Yeah. He's got on a fucking sweater. He's just drinking like margaritas out on the back porch with the other dads.
Yeah, they're
Hanging out
talking
by
about
the grill.
They're talking about grills, and he's like,
Mrs. Maw.
yeah, they're talking about grills, and he's like, yeah. So Thanos and I destroyed half of a planet's population the other day. It was wild.
Does that come with dental?
We
Oh, is that why you missed my son's bris?
Is that why? The evil gender reveal party.
Do you think
they're all evil?
Do you think Thanos?
Or he shows up.
Do you think that bris at brisses is the plural of a bris, a brine? I don't know.
No, Thanos would have birthday parties for Nebula and Gamora.
Oh God!
And all of his friends would have to come.
Well, yeah, and Corvus Glaive
and he would hire magicians.
Proxima Midnight are an item.
Oh,
Maybe
that's right.
That's true.
That's right.
They might have a kid.
I was going to say, do you think at a bris Thanos just cuts off half the first?
Like, God damn it! It's another cheap Elsa impersonator.
So all right. Yeah, Bucky's got his new arm. Then meanwhile, on Ebony Maw's ship, Ebony Maw's trying to get the time stone from Doctor Strange. Spidey and Tony come up with the plan. They blast him into...
Spidey does.
Spidey, comes up with the plan.
Once again, Spidey uses a movie reference to save the day, or at least advance the plan.
Yeah.
Well, and yet another Fox Disney property. First one was Empire.
Oh yeah. Now
this one is now Alien. You know.
Right.
The mouse owns all.
In the family.
Yeah. So they blast him into space. Tony decides they free Doctor Strange, but they decide not to take the ship back to Earth so that the battle will have fewer civilian casualties. Meanwhile, on Thanos' ship, we find out that he's torturing Nebula, who's the one that revealed to him that Gamora knows the location of the Soul Stone.
Another great shot.
Yeah.
Reminiscent of the comics.
Yeah, where Nebula.
Parted out.
There's a shot just like this where she's horizontal, but it's not from Infinity Gauntlet. It's from a later Thanos run. But she also gets disassembled by Thanos constantly.
Yeah.
She's all like, disassemble Nebula 5?
Karen Gillan's screams are still jarring every time. Every single time I watch the scene, I am like reaching for the remote to turn the volume down because it just sends a chill down my spine. Again, Joe and Anthony Russo were shocked that this made it past the edit. They were like, we did not expect them to allow us to have her be tortured so viscerally.
Yeah.
They had to make the purple guy. Yeah. They had to do a lot of work with Thanos in this one movie.
They did.
Well, and
to get you to believe a lot of shit for having first teased him in Avengers.
Yeah. For him being around.
This is his movie.
It's
his story.
Well, sure. Of course.
He's the
It was brilliant to have a big bad.
Yeah.
Whether they retconned a lot of shit, which we know they did, but it was a great idea to have a big bad.
It was a great idea to have a big bad. And Andrea just says, Gamora was willing to die to keep this secret, but can't make it through 5 seconds of Nebula torture. Yeah, I feel like she should have been willing to sacrifice those around her as well. But I mean,
I agree, but that is also a running theme in this, obviously, with Tony and Stephen Strange at the end.
Well,
but
and I mean, even at the beginning,
people
Loki
giving shit up real quick.
Loki with Thor, it's a constant theme that people are willing to make sacrifices, but they're not willing to sacrifice those they love. They're only willing to sacrifice themselves.
Gamora's long-running arc from the beginning of the first Guardians till now is she is softened by her relationships. And now
a real family.
She's finally established a foothold with Nebula, and she doesn't want to lose that even to save the universe. It's interesting the complexity of what they're trying to flesh out with Gamora. Similarly, because her and Thanos have the most complete arcs in the movie.
Yeah. Well, so that's the thing. I mean, Thanos really basically has a hero's journey through this. Like, if you look at him as the protagonist of the film.
Yeah, he does.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it's a dichotomy to his cold, calculated plan. You know what I mean? Like, I have to do the right thing for the people I love. Where Thanos loves, even though I don't believe him, he loves to tell you how dispassionate this mission is of his.
Yeah.
How he's doing it so clinically. He doesn't feel anything about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So in contrast,
you had mentioned hero's journey. Every character in this story has a single line motivation and story arc.
Yes.
With the exception of Thanos. His is more complicated for obvious reasons.
Right.
But it's interesting to see how they head faked us with story for these other characters. You know, we'll get to Thor's arc when they get to Nidavellir and all that stuff. But each character, you think like, oh, all these things will come together and they'll win. It's really cleverly done.
Yeah,
that they're shuffling around all these other characters, and you think like, oh, this will all come together in the end, and they'll win.
Right.
Well,
right.
yeah, and we even get those triumphant moments. Like, okay, we'll get to it. Anyway, all right. So she agrees to take Thanos to Vormir, and they teleport away. Meanwhile, Thor, Rocket, and Groot arrive on Nidavellir. Rocket gives Thor a butt eye, only to find that
he gives him a new glizzy.
Yes.
That's slang for glass eye, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Glizzy.
My understanding.
Or shizzy.
Yeah.
Right, glizzy. It's all winking.
I really appreciated the talk between Groot and not Groot, between Rocket and Thor.
They have several. They have some in Endgame that are truly touching.
Yeah. I really appreciated the line because he's like, "Are you sure you're up to this particular murder mission?" Mm-hmm. And Thor says, "The rage, vengeance, anger, loss, regret—they're all tremendous motivators. They truly clear the mind. So I'm good to go. They truly clear the mind.
They truly clear the mind."
Rocket says,
and a testament to his acting because, like, while he's saying that, his voice is trembling.
He's emoting,
yeah. Totally. But it's hilarious at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's somehow funny.
He goes back to that warrior attitude, like, well, I don't have anything else to lose at this point, kind of thing. And Rocket, Rocket says it at another time, but like me, I got a lot to lose.
I got a lot to lose.
Things personally.
To lose. Yeah.
Right. When we
Rocket's
first met this guy as this mutated robot raccoon thing that hated everyone and everyone hated him.
Yeah.
Now he's got a lot to lose, and he has like 4 friends.
It's interesting to me. He has a lot to lose, and he's willing to say that out loud only in front of Groot. He would never say that in front of Gamora or Peter or Drax.
Yeah, never.
Yeah.
Never. Yeah. So, all right. They get to Vormir, only to find... Nidavellir, I'm sorry. They get to Nidavellir, only to find that Thanos was already there, forcing them to forge his Infinity Gauntlet, destroying the forge afterwards.
Question? Do you have a question about this one?
The timeline on this, because we saw the Infinity Gauntlet in 2015.
Yeah.
I mean...
and we saw it in Ragnarok, the imposter one, the fake one.
Yeah. So...
You're right. It had to have been around when Odin was around because the fake one was in his trophy room. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have a replica of something until the thing itself is famous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
nobody's made imposters of my painting.
So
it has to be a famous painting.
Well, Josh, I'm going to work on that then.
Which one's the real one? Who cares?
So either
they've been ignoring the dwarves for a little bit now.
It's been a long time. And also, so what was Thanos doing?
Parliament recognizes the dwarves.
Yeah. And also, so like Thanos seems like he's in a hurry. He's like, I got to get these stones now.
Like yesterday.
But he had like 3. He apparently has the Infinity Gauntlet for 3 years and is like, I'm going to wait. I'm a real last minute kind of guy.
I'll do it myself.
Yeah, I'll do it myself.
The end of Age of Ultron.
In 3 years, I'll do it myself.
Well, I think that the
time's different.
He was waiting for confirmation on the location of the Soul Stone to move.
Andrea says that was a prototype. That was the one he made himself to bring to the dwarves to show them what he wanted.
He had Walgreens. Walgreens on the hook for a couple $100 million.
The Theranos. I always thought of Thanos whenever I saw Theranos.
That's I just see death in their name.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
turns out it was
Peter Dinklage is a giant dwarf.
Yeah, I loved this.
Yeah.
I loved Peter Dinklage playing a dwarf, but he's bigger than everyone else. That was amazing.
So there are a dozen CGI characters in this film. Peter Dinklage is a man.
Yes.
But they played with perspective. The Russos said this sequence of shots required the most math and science out of the entire film in order to make him look right at the right perspective. And I've seen people complain about this. I have zero complaints about this. I saw this on IMAX. Yeah. I watched this on TVs. This whole sequence, I buy it 100%.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Works for me.
Yeah. I have no issues with it whatsoever.
If anything, the one thing that I would have asked for in this scene is like, damn, can we add some subwoofer to his voice? You know, but realistically,
That's
whatever.
What killing you means.
Yes.
Yeah. It's so funny. I love this sequence so much. But learning that this was the most scientific and mathematically demanding thing for them to figure out was really interesting. Like, we've been doing these tricks for, 50 years in movies.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So all right, so he says he agrees to forge a new weapon for Thor, an axe he calls Stormbreaker. He says that in theory it could even summon the Bifrost, which is handy. They're gonna have to come up with a way to reignite the forge, though, which is powered by a star which has gone out. Back on Thanos' ship, Nebula escapes her captivity, heads to Titan, contacting the Guardians to meet her there. Tony, Spidey, and Strange arrive on Titan as well, crash landing the ship. There they meet Peter Quill, Drax, and Mantis. Strange uses the Time Stone to view millions of possible futures, seeing only one in which the Avengers win. The group formulates a plan to subdue Thanos and remove the Infinity Gauntlet.
I love when Tony has that "we're fucked" moment.
Yeah.
Like the guy who assembled the greatest minds and bodies on the planet. Now he has to fucking put something together with broken Legos. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he has that fuck, that my money means nothing here. I'm not near my technology. I have only X amount. And these are the guys I have.
Have you heard a word I said?
I think he would have been more confident had it been him, Strange, and Peter Parker. They would have just.
He would have
been like, "Cool, I can work with this."
Yeah. Well, but instead he's like a little out of his element. He has to partner with these aliens, and they
don't hold him in any esteem. That's automatic, like on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Tony can walk through doors, but Peter Quill's like, "What, am I supposed to say Jesus?"
That's such a funny line. What master do you serve? Who writes Strange's lines? Because they are like the most Star Wars dialogue ever.
Yeah.
But Quill's response is great. Quill's like, what master do I serve?
What master?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, because he's never, the closest was Yondu.
Yeah. So I've heard I've read a lot of posts about Doctor Strange, about the math of how many situations Strange looked through, the 14 million whatever it is,
14,605.
right, with the with it being a one thing, or with the major complaint being he did not look through nearly enough. He should
that's true.
It's not the one in that many, it's he probably should have been in the trillions.
Well, you're right, because they put an exact number. Because if you had just said, I've seen millions of outcomes or billions of outcomes, but you're right, such a specific number. It's just do a couple more.
I've read some of those same kind of interpretations of the math, and arguably he started from the future and went back. Would be the way to narrow it down from the trillions to the millions.
That makes sense.
Yeah. The other thing I've heard is maybe he's grouping them into classifications. There's one set of general timelines which can lead to this, but he's counting it as one thing. Maybe instead of Scott doesn't spill the taco in one, but he's still counting that as one.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to have some questions in Endgame when we get to the Ancient One, but questions as to what the Time Stone does when it's not in the Gauntlet. Because those who possess and around the Time Stone seem very unaware of time.
Yeah.
Of the future and the past, of what's coming. And you know what I mean? The Ancient One had to be tipped off by something Bruce offhandedly said.
Right. Well,
it's then what the fuck is the Time Stone for? Because I have a Time Stone. It's a clock. If you're not using it to go back and forth in time.
Well, and we saw Doctor Strange at the end of his own movie, Dormammu, like set up like he can literally turn back time.
Right.
What's his problem? Why is Thanos an issue?
The sorcery people are very surprised by a lot of things.
Yes.
They see nothing coming.
Like
not even Bruce hurtling through space into the Sanctum.
Well, I hope that we get some answers to that in Multiverse of Madness, because what's his face's line where he's like, you played with the fundamental something of reality.
Yeah.
This is going to have effects.
Mordo's line.
Mordo, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think using the Time Stone affects reality in ways that, maybe using the other stones doesn't have. Because, I mean, you use the Power Stone and you smash a thing.
That could be.
That affects the timeline in one way forever. But
they're in charge of making sure it's never used.
You were creating branch realities by going back in time now to like, I'm going to steal the stone from Thanos. Now there's 2 branch timelines.
That's a good point, is that with the advent of the timeline thing and the Loki show and the DBA, he's not actually going back in time. He's creating branch realities.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting. That's a way of looking at the time stone I never thought of before. It doesn't literally turn back time. It just messes with the multiverse.
And that's why the Ancient One can't look past their moment of death, because it would fuck with reality to be prodding around after you're dead.
Oh, well, that's a part of the Back to the Future.
Yeah. So
sort of thinking. But anyways, we're jumping to another movie.
Yeah. So all right. Anyways, so then
we will talk.
We cut to Vormir. Thanos and Gamora find Red Skull.
These are my biggest questions are about Vormir.
Okay, good.
There's no point in saving to the end, but
yeah.
So is the Soul Stone always there? Because we know it leaves sometimes.
Yes,
because
thank you.
She hid it there. Okay, Red Skull was zapped there by the stone. Okay,
what was he?
And when you were.
Because
that's what he says. We didn't know that at the end of Captain America.
He essentially says that,
yeah, that he was brought there by the stone.
So because it was the Tesseract. He had the Tesseract, so the Tesseract sent him to the Soul Stone.
But I think the Soul Stone,
fair enough,
because the stones themselves, in some comic book lore, they interact with each other. They communicate with each other. They are not sentient, but they function as like conscious, thinking things sometimes. So I think the Soul Stone used the Tesseract to bring him there because it needed a guardian.
Okay, that's fine. That was not my question so much as that's fine. But now that is his charge.
Yeah,
to stay on Vormir and instruct those. So does he know the dad who raised you, or your actual dad? Because Thanos is the son of Alars. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She's the daughter of Thanos. No, she's not. And then later on, we see Natasha and Clint. Mm-hmm. He says Clint, the son of Ethel and whatever, and says she's the daughter of Yvonne, which she's not, because that turns out to be David Harbour, the Red Guardian, her adopted fake father. Mm-hmm. So I guess that Red Skull only knows who's on your current guardianship paperwork,
right? Well, yeah,
or who you view
it's not like you get the impression that he sees through, time and space relationships and, just the progeny of, but no.
I assume that it
wouldn't he
was
take Gamora's real father's name or Natasha's real father's name just because it's not known to us, the audience, or to the greater public of Earth?
Yeah.
Or do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just a weird little thing that always bothered me.
I viewed it as who did they think of as their father figure, whether it's positive or negative. Gamora
so it's no real. It's more of a psychic thing than like having to do with this planet, because the planet seems special. The structure that he's standing on seems old, but also part of ruins that maybe exist, but it doesn't seem like an inhabited planet. And was it there before the Red Skull was there? Because the Soul Stone hasn't always been there,
right? Well,
Gamora hid it there,
right? Well, no, she didn't hide it there.
Who hid
found
it
the
then?
map. She found the map to the Soul Stone, and she destroyed the
she
map.
found
So
that it
so
was
that
on there.
that leads to more questions. Who made the map? And like you said, Josh, is the Soul Stone obviously isn't there all the time? How does it get back there? Because Cap after Endgame has to bring it back there himself.
And who was the gatekeeper before the Red Skull? Like
Yeah.
it implies that there has to be someone there. That's the I was doomed to walk the earth. You know.
And how does it keep getting back? People aren't going to just keep returning it.
When we see the
It has to be physically taken from there, you have to go there.
when we see the Power Stone, it is in an ancient civilization that has since been destroyed.
Right.
You know, and it's being held in a room that seems magical, whatever.
Mhm.
I assume that the Soul Stone similarly had a civilization that was built up around it that at some point collapsed as a result of somebody misusing it or something like that. Things we'll never know necessarily, but I think that maybe that would have been the last guardian of the Soul Stone, and maybe they lay dormant for many, many, many hundreds or thousands of years because no one knew of them. They became lost.
It's
to
just all,
history.
yeah. I mean, all of that is, yeah, viable.
That's the way
it's
that I
just
view
all-
it.
But
like,
still,
The parameters of this planet are so specific,
yeah. But
kind of like our Asgardian conversation. Like, where is Asgard?
Yeah.
What is it?
But I mean, also, like I said, how people obviously come and take it. Like this happens.
Yeah.
Because he says he has to lead people. Someone made a map. How does
Right.
it keep getting back there?
yeah, is it a one-off?
Because I would accept like it magically reappears when people like die or whatever, but Cap has to literally return it
Yeah.
himself. He has to take it back physically. So it like that
He has
doesn't
to
seem
take it back. Yeah.
that doesn't
and it's
seem to be-
handed off.
Yeah. That doesn't seem to be the case that it's magically reappears there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does he just give it to Red
Formular's
Skull?
Sticky.
Yeah, he's like,
And
here.
Red Skull's like, give me a few minutes. I'm going to go put this back. I have some questions about Earth.
Yeah.
How did the Nazi thing
So
work
they
out?
put way too much. They put way too many confusing details around the device of Thanos has to give something up to get what he wants.
Right. So the whole thing
You
is
know what I mean?
Yeah. So
They made Vormir a little more complicated when all it was really that. Like, is there anything Thanos loves enough to sacrifice?
right.
I honestly, I like the confusing aspect of it. I like that it doesn't all add up to make sense.
That's fine.
It,
Yeah.
it gives it a very
Bothering me.
mystical, ancient, magical kind of vibe, more so than a lot of like we get stuff like that at like the Commertage where it's like, oh, this is ancient and mystical, and then they give it some explanation where it's like, oh, that didn't make it more satisfying. I like being confused by it, kind of.
Because
And it's the Star Wars thing. Everything is on a specific place. Stormbreaker has to be made there. This has to be gotten here.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
because it's the Soul Stone, we don't even really know what the soul is. There's no scientific explanation for the soul.
Yeah.
Which
we've been philosophizing
interesting,
about
man.
it for millennia, and we haven't really figured it out.
That's okay. All right.
I mean, Groot
Where's
has
my
a
rubber
soul.
stamp?
Like,
I buy that.
Would Vision have been snapped if he had been alive still?
Yeah.
Does he have a soul?
Well, and that's the question about Groot being snapped is that like he's the last of his race. Should only half of them have disappeared?
Well, they round up.
They round up.
Or will we find out that he's not because somebody
like
has already, you know, grown another Groot?
Well, yeah, and I mean the snap in general. I have a lot of questions about how that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But you know,
we'll spend another 45 minutes after the episode is over talking about the snap.
Well, Endgame would be the best time to talk about it because lots of people snap in that. And it's like you have to be thinking.
Yeah, we'll hold some of the snap conversation for Endgame, I think, for sure. Anyways.
I think it's best, yeah. There's like 3 people that snap in that.
So anyways, it's
Thanos snaps, the Hulk snaps, and Tony snaps, right?
Yep.
I wish someone had done the around the world snap.
Yeah.
Snap with attitude, man.
That would have been so great.
It would have been like,
so terrible and so great.
I wish Thanos was the one to do it in Thor's face.
Yeah.
It would have been a slightly overweight African American sidekick lady, sassy character.
Where were we?
Anyway, so all right, back on. All right, so, anyways, he sacrifices Gamora. Back on Earth, the Avengers arrive in Wakanda. Steve reunites with Bucky. They plan for the invasion of Thanos' people. Bruce and Shuri come up with a plan to take the stone out, but it will take some time. Proxima and her army show up, and they have to defend the capital city, which is behind an energy barrier, while Shuri works to remove the stone. If I were any of these Wakandan people, I'd be like, this is a robot. Let's just kill him. Personally. Yeah. I don't know him. I'm not in love with him. So
yeah,
he's a robot.
This seems like a really big threat. Yeah.
Maybe we should kill the robot. Like, guys.
The robot suggested it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which makes me
he seems cool with it.
Which makes me believe it's something we should do. Yeah. Anyways.
We just need one vote.
So yeah, then on Nidavellir, Thor reignites the star, but the Forge's iris is closed. The Forge won't work. Thor decides to hold open the door. This happens concurrently with the assault on Wakanda. Bruce gets into the Hulkbuster armor while the Wakandans and Avengers defend against the assault of generic, literally faceless CGI alien monsters.
Yeah.
Well, the Outriders exist in the comics. They are a comic book thing.
Yeah. They're like a step below the Chitauri, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cannon fodder.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because we've seen the Chitauri. We don't see the Chitauri in this.
You see one.
Oh, we do.
That's working on
that's
Nebula.
Right.
She
Nebula.
snaps his head. But you're right, just the one.
Thanos does not have a monolithic army. He has an army from many, many alien races.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just conquering and colonizing.
Yeah. So, all right. Then Thor holds open the iris on Nidavellir, allowing the axe to be forged. Groot uses his own arm to create the handle.
Badass.
Yeah, that was cool.
Imagine another movie where a character sacrifices their arm to make a thing.
Yeah.
Like, you don't
now
get the circumstances.
No, you don't.
It's imbued with Asgardian power, and now Stormbreaker's imbued with Groot power, the species of Groot. You know, that regenerative power, and it's badass.
Yeah, it is. So Thor opens the Bifrost, and he, Rocket, and Groot arrive in Wakanda to reinforce the Avengers. I love Thor's arrival so much.
Oh, dude, the screaming in the movie theater.
Yeah.
And Bruce, you guys are so screwed now.
Yes.
So Silvestri's Avengers theme, we hear it when they're fighting at the train station in, where were they?
Yep.
Berlin.
Well, yeah.
When Cap is Scotland, but when Cap is revealed,
that's the Captain America theme. That da-da-dun, 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 da-da-dun.
Oh, you're right. That was. Sorry, I interrupted, Brian.
That and this moment, Silvestri was like, well, why don't we just do this, and like played on his phone the themes from those movies, and everybody in the room was like, we can't do anything else. What else would we play in this moment?
You just have to play like the full Avengers triumphant theme. Yeah,
it's so great. Well, and this, back to the like pulling the hood over our eyes to make us think like, oh yeah, Thor's got this. The whole time Thor is like on a mission, singular focus, getting a Thanos killing weapon. I'm gonna do this thing. He shows up triumphantly as the Avengers are on their heels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, we are now led to believe that it is in the bag. Thor is here. The gang's all back together.
He's
because we've seen Thor run headlong into battle, but usually that was his arrogance and his pride and shit. But now he's angry.
Yeah.
Now it's like, it's not just him running headlong. It's where's that fucking guy?
Yeah,
bring me Thanos.
The delivery of "Bring me Thanos" is like, damn.
Like, oh shit, man!
It's hardcore.
Fuck that guy up.
Yeah.
He's never fought me before. Yeah, he has. He's never fought me twice.
That's such a great line.
Back on Titan, Thanos shows up and justifies his plans. He tells them all about his half population theory. It's some real eugenics level kind of like.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Ooh.
Like life is not
But
just
it's-
a numbers game.
This
But
is
it's random.
this reminds me of a
Yeah.
this
it's dispassionate,
this
right?
reminds me of a teenager
it?
who's recently gotten into libertarianism explaining it.
Yeah, about personal freedoms. and
Yeah.
Enough to go around.
Like if people starve, they starve. What can I do?
Yeah.
You know, like
They
yeah.
have to,
You can't tax people.
bootstraps and shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, so
Darwinism thrown in a little bit.
yeah, so Nebula arrives and helps the others subdue Thanos. Then she
hits him with a ship,
yes.
which is her move now. She tried to hit Gamora with the ship.
That's right. I forgot you did it before.
Yeah, she did. That's kind of ratchet. I love it.
Yeah. Did she learn that from watching Rocket hit
Just hit
what's
you
his
with the
face,
car.
Ronan, with the ship?
Well, you know, that's the thing is like if you're in trouble and you're in a car and you don't have a weapon, you have a weapon. Your weapon is the car. Like,
Yeah.
Remember, kids,
yeah, if someone's chasing you and you're in a car, run them over.
you're not being chased. You're
Don't-
already the winner.
That's right.
That's just a dude running after you.
Just remember, kids, the car is a death machine.
It is.
Yeah, and at this
For
point,
fun.
at this point, Peter Quill ruins everything. Mantis is badass. She was able to subdue a Celestial. She subdues Thanos.
Yeah.
One of my favorite
Quill
improvised lines in this movie, because a lot of this wasn't improvised because there were so many moving parts. They were improvised, like sitting in listening sessions and then ADR and that kind of thing, and going back reshoots. But Peter Quill says, "For the record, this was my plan. That was 100% Chris Pratt improvising that day of shooting."
That's awesome. He is I have my issues with Chris Pratt, but he is a great improviser.
He's very funny.
He's very funny and is a great
he's
improviser.
perfect as Peter Quill.
Yeah.
I love when people don't want a guy playing a character because he's too much like that character in his
Right,
real life.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he shouldn't play Star-Lord. Yeah, he is Star-Lord, folks.
Absolutely. He's a little bit douchey. He's a little douchey, and he's supposed to be.
And kind of dumb.
Yeah.
We can't.
Kind
There's
of
not another
movie.
Chris. You can't cast Chris Evans in every role.
Exactly.
And one sandwich away from being fat.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
exactly. He's not a threat, Chris Pratt. He's
Yes.
just an idiot.
So yeah, Quill ruins everything. Thanos breaks the group's hold over him. Back in Wakanda, Vision's procedures interrupted by Glaive, who pulls Vision out of the building, out into the forest, where they fight.
Sorry, Rocket wants Bucky's arm.
Oh yeah, the arm thing.
He's so obsessed with prosthetics.
It's like, I'm gonna get that arm.
He loves the idea that if you take it away, that person's yeah.
Yeah.
He likes the knocking the crutches kind of.
He's like a cat who
Yeah,
just
well,
wants
it's
to
humor.
knock the glass off the table. Like,
He is. Yeah.
On Titan, Thanos wounds Tony, is going to kill him, but Strange offers him the Time Stone in exchange.
He dropped a moon on them.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
did.
And
Hard.
wait, so are they on? They call it Titan over and over again. Is it supposed to be a moon of Saturn? Crashed another.
It's a
I
different.
don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it's a
Okay.
whole different planet.
I think they.
Because also timeline wise, it took them so long for the circly spaceship to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strangely designed.
It must have been so very far.
Yeah,
away.
I think even in the comics it was retconned quite a while ago to not be the moon of Saturn.
The moon of Jupiter.
Jupiter,
Is it
Saturn.
Saturn. Yeah, and they would have seen the civilization
Yes.
from Earth
We would have
With our-
noticed.
with their giant telescopes.
We would have noticed that. Yes.
Where an eternal is from. Yeah.
So yeah, anyways, so Thanos teleports away to Earth after getting after getting the Time Stone.
Strange sacrifices Tony's life, or does not sacrifice Tony's life. He saves Tony's life and sacrifices the stone,
Yes.
which is completely reverse what he said originally to Tony on the ship.
Because
I
it was
won't-
the only way.
I won't hesitate to sacrifice you or the kid in
Yeah.
order to save the stone. And
Right.
Tony looks so confused. This is such a great setup for the sequel because Tony has no idea what Strange saw or what he had in mind. Also, when he grabs the stone, the time stone was hidden in the stars. It was actually a star in the night sky.
Oh wow!
And I never caught that detail.
Oh right, because the other one was fake. The one in
Yeah.
his amulet.
But yeah, when he grabs, I thought he just brought it out of thin air. No, he pulls it. You see it grow in size from a star in the distance. That once he moves it, that star is gone. It's a subtle little
That's cool.
detail.
That's cool.
But one of the photography directors suggested that as an idea, and they ran with it.
That's awesome. So all right.
Another fun line that was before that, I think, was when Steve meets Groot. It's like, I am Groot. I am Steve Rogers.
Steve Rogers.
Well, yeah, that
Super earnest hand on his chest
So
too.
sincere.
yeah.
Oh, and they're exactly, because they're both very sincere, emotional beings.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, a lot.
Cap is kind of a Groot.
So much of
Steve doesn't speak Groot yet.
Yeah.
Maybe never will, but just took him at his word.
Yeah. So much of this movie,
Cap.
so much of this movie's charm is unexpected pairings of people who we didn't ever think
That's what
we'd see
team
come
ups are
together.
about, baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
Strange alchemy is what the Russos referred to it as.
Yes.
Just trying to find the best combinations of characters.
Well, and like this,
But that was a stand the man thing, man. You know, like get them together. You got to get them together. Secret Wars. Okay, that was fun. It's been a couple years. Infinity. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yep. I mean, Spider-Man with the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Those
Right.
kinds of,
That's
like,
how you sold those books.
Yeah.
You know, like holy shit, they're together.
Synergy,
They were
man.
always together over and over again. Marvel.
I love the Footloose thing. Be like in Footloose? Yes, just like in Footloose. He's so excited that
Still
somebody's
the greatest movie ever.
No, it never was.
It never was.
Just like the excitement on Chris Pratt's face that somebody else knows Footloose.
Well, that they, even earlier they asked if Kevin Bacon was an Avenger.
Yes.
I don't know, maybe.
Maybe. It's great because of the 6 degrees to Kevin.
Oh yeah.
Then you have like something like this where everyone.
So all right. So Thanos arrives in Wakanda.
Because Marvel blew that game out of the water. You can't really entertainingly play 6 degrees. to Kevin Bacon
it's
anymore. I
done
used to
now.
play it on road trips and shit. Yeah. It's like, all right, put these actors in 5 moves.
Yeah,
Now it's like Infinity War.
Yeah, exactly.
And then everything Robert Downey Jr. did before his comeback.
Exactly. So all right.
Chaplin.
Thanos. Oh, which is weird. So Tobey Maguire is going to be playing Charlie Chaplin in an upcoming movie.
I just noticed the other night that he doesn't move his mouth when he talks. I've always been looking at his surprised eyes
Tobey
all
Maguire?
these years. Yeah. Watching him, maybe that's his Peter Parker, but
That dude is so
his
weird.
lips barely move.
That dude is so weird.
He's
So
a
weird.
weird dude. He's weird to look at.
Yeah, he is.
I bet he's weird.
He's really
Right.
weird. It's like somebody's wearing a human suit.
That's what it's like. He's perpetually surprised.
Yes.
And
Somebody non-human is wearing a human suit.
Yeah.
Yes. Like the not real Men in Black.
So all right. So Thanos arrives in Wakanda. He barely notices Bruce in the Hulkbuster armor as he comes after him. He defeats Cap and Black Panther. Just kind of walks through them. Vision convinces Wanda to destroy him and the Mind Stone, which she does tearfully. But then Thanos uses the Time Stone to reverse her actions and rips the stone from Vision's forehead. Thor arrives then, gets Thanos in the heart with Stormbreaker. Thanos tells him he should have gone for the head and snaps his fingers.
Right. With the amount of stones that he has, even before all 6 are in the gauntlet,
Yeah.
There's no other way to stop him but to decapitate him.
Yeah.
But every good hero has to have that moment.
Yep.
Where they talk for a second.
The head or the hand. He could have chopped
Or
off
the
his
Oh,
arm.
yeah.
With his hand. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
If he'd taken the arm off, that would have been a good move. Yeah. So
Anything other than what he did.
Yes. Thanos experiences child Gamora in some sort of mind realm for a moment and then comes back to the present. He teleports away and half of all life in the universe disintegrates, including Bucky, T'Challa, Groot, Wanda,
Groot. Oh my god.
Falcon,
Spidey.
Mantis, Drax, Peter Quill, Doctor Strange, who tells Tony in the last moments that there was no other way, and then Peter Parker, like you said, who falls to dust in Tony's arms.
And the only one who feels it before it starts to happen to him is Peter because of his spider sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and
It's
Mantis.
heartbreaking.
Mantis just says something is happening.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Peter and Groot's is, I don't know. They both hit me so hard in the gut when I saw this. Just so sad the way that Peter starts to.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
One that just rocket, you know.
Well, and this is the second time he's had to watch Groot die.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, we cut back to Thanos, who finally rests, looking out on a not entirely grateful universe.
Yeah.
We get the credits, and then in a mid-credit sequence, Nick Fury and Maria Hill are in New York. They get dusted, but Nick is able to activate a beeper just in time. The beeper has Captain Marvel's logo on it.
Which was so exciting as well
Yeah.
Yep.
when we saw that. What's up, Tobey Maguire? You okay?
Yeah.
Alzheimer's.
We almost
Yeah,
get...
that was all mind-blowing.
This is the second Marvel movie where we almost get an F-bomb that's cut off at the last second.
Yep.
We're funnier that way.
Yeah.
There's nothing. I mean, fuck is
It's like
still an
they
amazingly versatile
didn't say
word.
it, but they put it in our head.
Yeah.
It's funnier when we say it.
Um.
Especially May Parker's in Homecoming.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That takes it quick.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh, the drop to the Ramones too. God.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah,
like
that
the
was
animation, you know.
Yeah. So just I'm gonna say it because I mean it's what it's been brought up a lot. Why don't you just double the resources if there's instead of having the people double the resources?
Yeah, snap your fingers so that there's no more.
So
black.
the reasoning that the Russos gave in their director's commentary was because the lesson that life would learn as a result of Thanos sacrificing the other half of life would last longer than doubling the resources.
That's why it's not dispassionate. It's self-motivated.
Yeah.
He wants to look out, see, grateful universe. That implies that people will thank him.
This is why he's a villain and not
he's a villain.
The good guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
and they may only thank him in a million years. They may not thank him today or tomorrow.
But
Whereas
it's
if
coming.
double
That's a part of his plan.
Well,
you know what I mean?
in a million
It's not
years,
just doing it and walking away with a quiet charity.
Well, but here's the thing: in a million years, we're going to be back to where we were population-wise again, and he's just
That's true.
and
well, with the exception of the cultural impact that people may now prepare for, like, this happened because resources are finite. We need to find a new way forward. Was kind of the way they interpreted.
He
Thanos'
wants them to
motivation.
tell tales of him and sing songs of him.
So
and praise the Titan who saved the universe.
He's an Old Testament kind of god.
Thanos saw a problem, and he said, "Only I can fix it."
In my way, and only in my way. Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
Make the
and
universe
like
great again.
Yeah.
many good megalomaniac psychopaths, they think they're doing it for some greater good.
They do think they are.
They sure do.
What movie before did I call Marvel's Empire Strikes Back? Was that Civil War?
I think so.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah, it's the band breaks
I
up.
think so because we even mentioned
the band
they
breaks
do
up.
that
But this even more so, like, it's a great movie, but such a bummer.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
It was
There's
such
no
a
high
bummer.
note at all.
I watched this movie after, like, immediately after our last podcast recording, and I got to the end, and
like 3 times.
I could not then go to Endgame.
Yeah,
Because
now that we have
You
it.
have to,
Because
yeah.
now that we have it,
Yeah.
Because I was bummed out. I
think
remember
it's the weaker of the two now that we have.
I remember watching this in the theaters, and being so bummed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
The only glimmer of hope was the Captain Marvel tease, and we hadn't gotten her movie yet. So
Yeah.
that was the closest thing to like, oh, okay. But yeah, the Marvel universe had been defeated, and we all walked out feeling that way.
Well, and the musical beat that the music that he played over the fucking credits, man.
Oh my
like
God,
the
yeah.
Thanos theme just lingering as you're sitting waiting for a post-credits scene.
It lingered so much that when I was seeing Endgame for the first time and it said 5 years later, I felt like I was punched again. Like, holy fuck, 5 years? They dealt with 5 years of this crap?
I
Like,
cannot wait for
heavy shit.
Endgame
Yeah.
because of that.
This movie was like an exercise in futility.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
every way around.
and we believed in the wrong
From the Hulk's
characters.
attack in the beginning.
Like,
Yeah.
we're led to believe like our heroes are heroes. They're going to
gone
do
now.
heroic things
Yeah.
and they're going to win, and then they're gone, and it's just like, well,
Who are we
shit.
left with?
Yeah, what? Yeah, I remember
then-
leaving the theater counting on my fingers who survived.
Right. And you never really imagined that it would be Thor and Rocket again that like took it to another character level, or just badass. Who they were left with pairing.
Andrea just put in the chat, if he doubles the resources, that's unfair to people who had to find their own resources. Hashtag cancel student debt.
Yep, that is the argument against that.
It is.
I had to have cholera.
Got rid of half of the college graduates. Boom.
Yeah, better market.
Did any of the original Avengers get dusted?
No, I was about to say that was all of the original 2012 Avengers survived. The dusting.
That was by design. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because they were still under the idea that those guys, those six, are the Avengers, and everyone else is a additional Avenger.
Well,
Yeah.
and this movie,
They're
we
the
get
ones
a-
that have to pull it together.
Yeah.
We get a lot of Tony. This movie is very Tony centric.
Yeah.
Tony gets the biggest emotional impact at the end, of him losing Peter.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it ends on Cap going, "Oh God,"
Yeah.
which is sad in itself, but it's a little less personal. It's a little more. He's mourning all of these people dying around him, whereas Tony is mourning one person. But in Endgame, it's very Cap focused.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool that they gave each one of them a little bit more focus in each of these movies. But we end it with Tony being the hero,
Right.
Spoiler
I mean,
alert.
yeah, Tony kicked it off. Tony has to end it. But again,
Yeah.
that's for another movie,
Yeah.
for another time. I was actually looking, and we pretty much went through all of my unanswered questions. Do you guys have anything else you wanted to talk about before we get on to the ranking?
Xandar. We didn't really mention that he stole the Power Stone from Xandar
And destroyed it.
and
Destroyed
destroyed the entirety of Xandar. That's an interesting choice because that's our formation of Nova as a character, comes from that kind of moment. It'll be interesting to see what that does.
Yeah. That's never. We still haven't really gotten the fallout from Xandar being
But
gone.
Nova's coming,
Yeah.
supposedly.
Well, in Guardians 3, we'll probably touch on some of the.
Well, I heard Adam Warlock will finally be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And that was the end of 2, was we got the Adam Warlock reveal-ish. I mean, the cocoon.
Yeah.
Well, right, but then after, not to jump ahead, but Eternals had that cameo at the end.
Yeah.
Pip and Star Fox. That brings Adam Warlock into play, and probably Nova.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see if anything about that is in Thor 4, which which that trailer was amazing.
Yeah.
It is, and there's so much they're dealing with in that movie.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it'll be interesting how much of the future universe goes prior to these moments that we've watched already. Like how much we go back and reflect on events that happened.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's no time to do that.
With these series that are coming, yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, all right, guys, you ready to go ahead and rank the movie?
Sure.
Yep.
Try.
Yeah. So, all right, let me bring that up here.
Well, it's up in the top 20, right, at least.
Oh
right?
God, I would.
At least.
I'm thinking top 3.
Yeah, I mean, I would. So this is what we're looking at. Last week we put Black Panther at 6, Josh, with Jeremy. So right under Ragnarok. I would personally put it above Logan myself, but I understand the argument that it should maybe go either below it or, it's.
So you accept 1 or 2?
I can agree with number 1. Honestly, I think this is better than Empire Strikes Back, which is crazy.
Wow.
to think.
Well, I don't even compare them.
I don't know if I can agree.
No, I don't think it's better than. I don't think it's better than Dark Knight, but I'm not getting on a soapbox. I'm not going to argue. But it would be fine at number 1. It makes sense for what we do here.
Al, what are you thinking?
Well, I mean, it's at least better than Civil War.
Yeah.
Arguably. I could comfortably let it sit at number 1 for a little while.
Have you ever been uncomfortable in one of these? And how long did it last?
Well, if it lasts more than 4 hours.
So you took the rankings too seriously? All right.
So we're all in agreement. Number 1's cool.
I'm still uncomfortable that Orgazmo is not at number 1.
All right, we're putting Infinity War at number 1.
I'm sorry. Never want to talk about it. There's no need to be uncomfortable. Life is incredibly short.
Look, I'm seeing a psychologist about that.
Yeah.
About Orgazmo.
About the rankings.
All right. So that is it. We've got a new number 1, Infinity War, going at number 1 on our big silly list. That means we're drawing a close to this week's movie, and we will be looking forward to next week's movie. Next week on Harmless Phosphorescence, we are going to be watching Deadpool 2.
That's fun.
Cool.
Luck is a superpower.
Yes, it is.
And Thanos is back as a guy.
Brolin without that nutsack of a chin.
Yeah, that's right.
Brolin.
I've actually been saving my viewing of Deadpool 2 for like the podcast.
Oh, you haven't watched it yet?
Oh.
I have not seen it yet. I think before I was just lazy and didn't watch it.
But
now, for purpose.
Yeah, I've turned all my lazy into choices.
For reasons.
It sits better.
Reasons.
But for reasons now.
Yeah.
Now I have reasons.
Yeah.
So that is next
hear
week.
ya.
That is next week on Harmless Phosphorescence. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. This has been your host, Throw Smiley. I bid you farewell and good luck, morons.
I forgot to write any down. So I'm Josh CC, and Shy Glizzy says, go for the head.
Let me just say, if aliens wind up implanting eggs in my chest or something and I eat one of you, I'm sorry. I'm Brian Lesh.
All right.
I'm Alaric Weber, and my movement is so slow that it's imperceptible.
That's
true.
way too close to home. Way too true.
Is that a Zargnet,
That is
Al? Or
real.
are you just happy
Yeah.
to see it?
No, it's a Skriddle.
All right, thanks.
And if you have something you're trying to get to on time.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.